Welcome to Behind the Mic with AudioFile magazine. I'm Joe Reed, and I have Leslie Fine with me, and we are talking about audiobooks. Leslie, welcome.
Hi, Joe. Thank you. It's great to be here.
So, what do you have on the docket for us this week?
Well, this week is all about variety. We have representation from all different styles of audiobook. We have young adult literature, we have a poetry collection, there's a memoir, and there's a novel.
Wow, you're not kidding when you say variety. You sort of went through the card catalog.
Right?
So, where are we going to begin?
First, we'll start with this young adult novel called Under the Same Stars by Libba Bray.
Now, Libba wrote A Great and Terrible Beauty.
Yeah, prolific young adult author.
Yeah.
Boy, I can't recall. I think this is my first Libba Bray, and I really enjoyed this. It's pretty ambitious. It has 3 different plot lines that span a pretty broad time period. There's a lot going on, and it jumps around quite a bit, but thanks to the 3 audio book performers, it's really an enjoyable listen. I enjoyed it a great deal.
Now, who are the readers?
We have January LaVoy, Jeremy Carlisle Parker, and Major Curda.
Well, January, of course, is a golden voice and a brilliant narrator, and actually just won an audio award for Listening for the Lie, a mystery title.
Oh, it's just an amazing performance. We have 3 different sections with 3 different time periods, and her section, it takes place around World War II era, and her accents are great. We have some pretty tense moments, and she does a really good job of capturing that, intensity in her section of this novel. It's great, really effective.
And so the novel is in three sections, and each narrator sort of owns a section. Is that the way it works?
Exactly, that's a
Okay.
perfect way to put it. And it jumps around, like, we'll go back and forth, and there are kind of section labels that tell us where we are, but you get to know these performers so well. The minute you hear their voice, you know where you are. Am I in Berlin in the 1980s? Am I in pandemic era Brooklyn? Like, you know right away because they're such powerful voices.
And there are the three narrators, so I'm assuming three historical periods that they perform.
Exactly, exactly. So we have, these young women during World War II, and then we have another young woman in Berlin. She's an American whose family has moved to Berlin, and so she's kind of finding her way, making an adjustment from, Texas in the United States to Germany and hanging out with punk rockers and that kind of a thing and living with the Berlin Wall. And then we have a more contemporary young narrator. His name is Miles, and he's living through the pandemic kind of on his own. The stories are all connected because of this mystery. We want to know what happened to these young people way back during World War II.
So the stories are linked in some way. They're not three distinct stories.
Exactly.
Okay. You said it's long, and do you think young listeners will be there for the whole ride? What's your sense?
It's funny. I thought about that as I was listening. And, there were moments where I thought, I wonder, you know, could this part have been shortened a little bit? Maybe that kind of a thing. But then I thought, hold on. With young adult listeners, at least in my experience as a high school teacher, this time period that this is centered around, the World War II era, is always a favorite with especially high school students, but even middle school students as well. That would definitely get their attention, but then you bring in the idea of, the Berlin Wall and living a punk rock lifestyle. That story is going to hold their attention, and of course the pandemic story because they lived through it. They can identify with remote teaching and remote learning. And I thought, I think of all titles, this one really would be a good listen for young adult listeners as well as adults.
I love YA. I'm a great
Right?
fan. It's so
Yes.
I'm captivated by it. So what are we gonna listen to? What's our excerpt?
So this is an excerpt from the section performed by Major Curda, and this we meet Miles.
Okay, this is Under the Same Stars by Libba Bray. It's read by January LaVoy, Jeremy Carlisle Parker, and Major Curda.
So, what's up? With everything going on, I just wondered how you're doing. He shrugs. You know. Yeah, for real. There's another awkward pause. Is Mom Lisa okay? So far. She's living with some other nurses near the hospital for now. She didn't want to bring anything home. Chloe shakes her head. So scary. You and Mama D must be worried about her all the time. Miles doesn't want to go there. Funny story, Mama D is stuck in Amsterdam. Wait, what? Yeah, she had just flown there to work on this exhibition when everything shut down. She figured it would be a week or two and decided to write it out, and, well, here we are.
I don't know him. I don't know his work. I know Jeremy Carlisle Parker, who does a lot of YA and fantasy, and of course January, but boy, I want to hear more of Major Curda's work. What great characterization.
Really well done. I was really taken. And, of course, these are all young people that are being voiced by these narrators, and they do such a great job of just making it sound real. It's not stilted. It's not an adult trying to sound like a kid. And I think they all do a
Exactly.
really good job with that.
Okay, that's Under the Same Stars. Did this one in earphones?
It did.
An Earphones Award winner. That's Under the Same Stars, written by Libba Bray and read by January LaVoy, Jeremy Carlisle Parker, and Major Curda. Okay, Leslie, that is a great way to start the week. And I will talk to you tomorrow.
That sounds great. Thanks, Joe.
Support for Behind the Mic comes from Dreamscape, an award winning audiobook publisher with a catalog that includes authors Viet Tong Nguyen, Frida McFadden, and Katie Robert. Discover your next great listen at dreamscapepublishing.com.